Hi, I'm Andy.
And I'm Lindsay. Welcome to e-commerce marketing with the Pitbulls, where we try to cut through the noise and simplify digital marketing for authentic brands looking to make more sales online.
Today we're joined by Dan Csete. Hopefully I got that right. Of Dan the Baking Man. Dan, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the brand.
Yeah, I'm Daniel. We're a plant-based cooking company out of Miami, Florida. It's myself and my brother Robert, and we've been around since 2017. It all started. We were both big into CrossFitting. My brother Robert was ranked pretty high in the mid hundreds in terms of CrossFit competitors. And the gym every couple months launches these nutrition challenges where you can't have any synthetic sugars or artificial sweeteners. The problem is me and my brother and my whole family basically have a terrible sweet tooth. We would go to Trader Joe's, Target, your local grocery store, and couldn't find anything that didn't have any ingredients that we didn't know or was synthetic or was a calorie bomb, right? So we started making our own. They started out as little protein balls, and then we made them as cookies, and some of the ingredients were changed over time, and now we have our cookie, and they come in 3 different flavors. We have chocolate chip, matcha white chocolate chip, and sprinkles.
Awesome. Yeah, I love checking out the website. I love that the ingredient list is, like you said, kind of you understand everything that's on there. I know for me personally, it's always good to get like the lower sugar stuff, but I hate like the artificial sweeteners, like anything that's like the different like sucralose or whatever. I feel like always has an off flavor to me. So that's really cool that you're kind of creating that without using any engineered ingredients. All right. So you mentioned that the website is pretty new. Tell me a little bit about kind of your move to e-commerce and kind of what you're doing on selling online.
Well, the way we're doing it, well, when we first decided to rebrand the website, we wanted something that a lot of customers previously had told us the website was too slow. It was too slow for them to check out process, or just like to find different things on the website in terms of being able to order more quantities, or some of them wanted a subscription plan. So we launched that, and we use Shopify now. So it's much quicker to check out. There's a subscription plan. There's a 15% discount for first time users. And it's going pretty well. Like, a lot of customers love how easy it is, how they can add different flavors now to the cart. Or like, we love it. A lot of design work was by our in-house designer, Loie Baccaro, and she's absolutely amazing. She's done all the design work for the company. It's from the packaging to the website.
That's awesome. And it's a great kind of segue there. You had mentioned that you're partnered with your brother. I love that.
Yeah.
Tell me about what it's like to be working with family.
It has its ups and downs. Like, we're gonna have really good moments, and sometimes I'm gonna do something where he gets upset about, and he's gonna get upset at something that I do about. But at the end of the day, we still have to see each other in the kitchen the next morning.
I love that.
I wanted to ask, so we talked a little bit about the e-commerce portion of it, but I think something that I find super fascinating about your brand is the tie-in with coffee shops.
Yeah.
I have always had a major sweet tooth. That's my connection here, that I totally love that you're just out in the open about it, that you have a sweet tooth, you love the sweets too. But one thing that's always been super special when I visit like a coffee shop is getting to grab like just some like little sweet treat, like a cookie, and it looks exactly like the ones that you all have on your website. Can you talk about what that process was like and just what it's like having your cookie in a coffee shop? That's super fun.
I mean, when we first started this, we were like, what can we pair with? What can our product pair with that is an easy thing to get your hands on? So you go to a coffee shop, it's going to be right there. Normally, it's right there, right by the counter, right by the register, and you're like, oh, I don't want something super heavy. I don't want a croissant. I don't want a Starbucks cookie that's 300 calories. I want something on the lighter end. Something I'm in a rush. I'm on my way to work, or I'm on my way to gym, or I'm running a errand. So we were like, why don't we reach out to a bunch of these coffee shops and see if they're interested? And we've had a lot of, so we're in over 100 cafes across the country. Ferry's been really Ferry, that online platform. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but that's a lot easier way for coffee shops to find different brands of cards.
Yeah, I've heard of Fair for like non-perishable products. So I didn't know that they sold like edible goods on there too, which is really cool. And I love that. Yeah, it's been a really cool platform to use from like a wholesaler perspective if you have like a retail shop. So I had no idea that coffee shops were using it. And so that's really cool to see.
Yeah, we actually just picked up a new sort of interesting, it's not a coffee shop, but it's like a tea bar in Chicago.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
they just ordered a couple of days ago. So that's been really good for us.
Now, has most of the growth in that area been, I know you mentioned that you also do like kind of some local activations and you know, working through clubs and things like that. Is most of it kind of boots on the ground going in and trying to find coffee shops, or is it a lot of, you know, people coming in through Fair or other sources where people are like finding you organically?
It's a little bit of both. It's cold emails, it's cold phone calls. It's like back in the day, and then it's also Fair because we've had a lot of success. So we're one of their, they call themselves top shops. If when you sell a certain amount, you qualify for top shop. So you would pop up if a coffee shop or a different kind of shop is looking for, say, healthy cookies. They search for healthy cookies. Ours would come up in that first sort of list that they show up.
That's awesome. And then do you find is that pushing your e-commerce growth or the other way around? Or I'm sure it's a kind of a mix of both, but do you find that it's a lot of people who are, you know, making purchases for the first time through e-commerce that found you either in a store or in, you know, one of your activations, or is it kind of vice versa where people are, you know, asking coffee shops to start stocking you and that type of thing?
They found us through different sort of channels. Either we come up on their Instagram feed, or they know someone who went to one of these run clubs and they're like, "Oh, have you heard of Dan the Baking Man? They're giving out samples." They're like, "Oh no." Then they're like, "Oh, I have to go run to get these samples."
How do you budget for that?
So it's a mixture.
How do you budget for that? I know you talk about you know, doing a lot of like working with run clubs and things and samples. Is that like, do you have like a set amount, or how do you think about that?
We don't have a certain, like, there isn't a monetary check mark that's set. Normally it's 4 to 5 samples per SKU, give or take. We only have 3 SKUs, so
yeah. So it's smaller groups. It sounds like that when you do those events, you're looking on the order of, you know, connecting with 12 people or so, or is it as opposed to you know, like a grocery store tasting or something?
Yeah.
Can you talk more about the run clubs? I think this is such a cool idea. And we hear from other brands too, who are getting kind of boots on the ground, but they're usually outside of like farmers markets or, or grocery stores or something to hand them out. So what are you doing with run clubs?
So run clubs are different than your like setting up a table at Whole Foods, right? Where people are out of work and they want to meet new people. They want to have a good time. So the run club is a really good way for us to introduce our product. They put a face to a brand because we have Dan the Baking Man shirts and everything. Like we're working on merchandise, we're working on hats and stuff. So there's gonna be a lot of good things that are going to be added soon. But it's been really good for us to meet new people. We find people that are like health nuts, for example, right? They're like, "Oh, are you in Whole Foods?" They're like, "No." But and they're like, "Where can I find you?" And they look us up on Instagram, or they follow us on the website.
Do you find that when you're in that environment, do you get like kind of immediate feedback directly from the customer? That's, to me, it sort of feels invaluable that you wouldn't get that otherwise if you're like soliciting reviews online or finding other ways to get feedback. You're kind of like right there in front of them and they're giving you like real-time feedback, right?
It's like real-time feedback. So this week is running week, as you guys know. And the head runner for Nike was at the run club on Tuesday. Robert was able to get him to try it. He's working on cutting up the video. So you guys will see that in a couple days or so.
That's awesome.
That's exciting.
What a cool get. I feel like it's such like a niche community too. And obviously
Yeah.
the product, kind of works for anybody. So if a runner falls in love with it and, gives it to their family, it's very easy to kind of spread out from there. But I feel like that's I assume your background in running is kind of how you got into that.
My background, actually, I was a college tennis player.
Oh, okay.
I was a college tennis player. Then I decided I wanted to try being a college basketball coach. So I did an internship with Florida State basketball, and then I came home, went to grad school, got my master's, and then decided to start a cookie business all over again.
I love that. Try something new and different. But yeah, no, it's really cool. And do you, when you go out to the running clubs, it mainly just like kind of talking to runners, or are you going out and like running and hanging out with them for the whole time?
No, we run. Like both of us run. We bring samples.
That's great.
Like,
I'm sure they can sniff that out. It would probably, like, if I went to a run club and tried to sell a cookie, they would know very quickly that I'm not a runner. So they probably are looking for that authenticity, which is really great that you can provide that.
Yeah. And it's real-time feedback. It's not like when we send samples to stores, sometimes we won't hear back for a couple days. It's like instant feedback. It's like either, oh, this flavor is really good, or I don't like this one. This one's my favorite, things like that.
Do you find like are people looking mainly into flavor and like how, like it as a treat versus like the nutrition basis of it versus like what's kind of like the main thing that people kind of glom onto?
The low calorie count. A lot of
Okay.
after you work out normally, you don't want something that's 500 calories or 300 calories. You want something light to hold you over until you go shower, eat dinner with whoever you're going to eat dinner with, right? So all our products are under 180 calories.
Okay.
They only have 5 ingredients. They come in 2 cookies per bag.
Perfect.
So you can have it. So yeah, exactly. So you have one for now, and you can stack one for later.
I love it. Perfect. So it started out, it sounds like you went through a lot of athletic stuff going through school, kind of took a shot at coaching, like you mentioned. How did you get into CPG, and what are your thoughts been, kind of since being in this business?
So both my parents cook. So growing up, we all of us, there's 4 of us. There's me, my brother Robert, my sister Lauren, and my other sister Isabel. And all of us are self-taught by watching our parents cook all these meals when we were growing up. So it started out as a little like side project because I wanted a dessert to have after I work out, and I didn't want something that was 500 calories. I didn't want something where I didn't know what the ingredients was. So they started out as little protein balls. Then we made them as cookies.
That's awesome.
And my parents loved them, and my sisters and my mom were like, "You should start a little side business."
How'd you get the name? Where'd that come from?
Oh man. It just clicked. It was like, all right, so we're making cookies, baking, and I started this company, so Dan the Baking Man.
Yeah.
There you go. What was the process like going from, making it for yourself in a home kitchen to, eventually scaling up to getting something that's, shelf stable and produced at scale?
It was a lot of hours. So I was working. So while working as a CrossFit trainer, I was also making these cookies with a cookie cutter, hand cut cookie cutter. Like think a baking tray, like 6-7 trays, right? Because at that time it was just me like doing it all myself, and then my brother came along, and it was crazy. It was a lot of hours.
Yeah. Did it take a lot of like change to the product itself to get it to a point where it was, ready to produce at scale?
Yeah. It went through 4 different changes. Early on, customers didn't like it. Was spongy early on. It was really spongy. and they didn't like that. And that was due to initially the product had coconut oil in it.
Okay.
And if you know anything about coconut oil, it's a high fat oil.
Gotcha.
For the flavors that you have now, kind of the tried and true stars throughout the whole thing, have you tried anything new? Do you have anything like coming up?
We had so we had a white and black one. We had a macadamia nut, and matcha is relatively new over the last 6 to 8 months, give or take.
I was gonna say that was kind of an interesting flavor to see that, like just having three flavors. The introduction of matcha was exciting for me. I'm
well, we saw over the course of like 6 months, a lot of people were really big into matcha drinks. So we were thinking, how can we get something that connects with those customers that like matcha? They're like, oh, a matcha cookie. But you don't have just a matcha cookie. You have to have a like chocolate. What would it go well? Is it a regular chocolate chip that would go well with matcha, or like a mixture? So we went with the white chocolate chips.
That's awesome.
And our chocolate chips are also vegan.
Oh, nice. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah,
as well as the sprinkles are vegan as well.
Perfect. Thinking through that, yeah, I hadn't really put two and two together, but especially kind of starting with coffee shops, I feel like that's the perfect kind of entryway.
I hadn't thought about that either.
Fix that in.
Yeah.
Do you find, is it the same or different as far as kind of like popularity of the flavors, like what gets ordered in coffee shops or what they like to stock versus, what you're selling online versus, people you talk to at running clubs?
Some coffee shops prefer certain flavors over others. Like some would prefer the matcha, some would prefer the chocolate, but a lot of them will order all three, but in different quantities.
Okay.
So they'll order more of one than the other two. And some customers that are on the subscription plan will order either all three, or they'll order one, or they'll order like sprinkles. Even our adult customers like the sprinkles. That's the craziest. That's like, for me, I was thinking that was going to be our kids market, because parents want something light. They don't want to give their kid a calorie bomb in their lunchbox, right? So we were like, oh, let's go with the sprinkle cookie because it looks like a sugar cookie that you would give to your kid as he's going to school the next day.
You get that kind of nostalgic feel. I know we're big fans of what do they call it with the cake, the funfetti cake and all that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I could definitely see getting into the sprinkle cookies.
What's been the most surprising thing about this journey for you? I mean, I imagine you probably did not think that you would be Dan the Baking Man.
No.
So what's been the most surprising thing on this journey for you?
How much support we've gotten throughout the CPG community. About a couple of weeks ago, we were at the Chicago food event last month. And we just saw so many brands there that are either in similar stages or they're a stage above us, maybe, because we had partnered with Here Market, and we had all our products go into all the people that attended. They gave little gift bags of all their different brands. And they even talked about our brand like on the stage, which was like huge for us.
That's so exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Tell me about what you're doing online specifically. Like, are you you mentioned Instagram a few times. Is that kind of the main place where we're hanging out from a social perspective?
We do a lot on LinkedIn, a lot on Instagram, Facebook. We're working on TikTok. So we're sort of navigating all these different social channels because each algorithm is going to behave differently.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As you've spun into that, are you keeping that in-house? That's something that, you and your brother and your team are doing? Is that something you've outsourced? How does that work for you?
For right now, we're keeping that all in-house. Robert handles all the editing, all the posting, and We're doing pretty well. We're almost at 1,000 followers. Hopefully we'll get there pretty soon. Like,
Awesome. Yeah, keep pushing. Has that been, especially adding new platforms, has that been a drain or taking up a lot of time? I can imagine trying to kind of figure that into the schedule.
it's been really exciting actually, because each platform people react differently. Like Instagram, they're gonna see videos, versus LinkedIn, they're gonna see like business progress, which is like really good. And they're like, where can we find them? And then when they see our website and they're like, oh, this is amazing.
Yes, yes, I think we've connected on LinkedIn, so definitely
Yeah.
working in that regard.
Yeah. And then the great thing about LinkedIn is like different founders will order product and try your product, and then you won't know if they post about it. And if they post about it, that's amazing for us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always kind of funny there where it's like very business oriented, but I feel like you do see a lot of products working pretty well there too, just because, especially if it's, the type of a cookie or something that everybody can enjoy.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter if it's even if it is kind of a business community.
Yeah. And there's so many different products popping up. Like, have you guys heard of Bowie? The
I don't think so, no.
they're like a sparkling flavored canned drink.
Okay.
They have like a lime flavor, a pina colada. Like, I order them in bulk, so they're great.
I'll have to give those a shot. Maybe Spendrift will be taking a back seat for us here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, this has been really great. What's coming down the pipe for Dan the Baking Man? What's coming up?
Right now we're working on hopefully going to be in a much larger facility. We're working on pushing on Ferry and expanding our DC and adding one new store at a time.
Awesome, right? That's all you can do. One foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be keeping an eye out for you. Definitely, really fun brand, and I can't wait to kind of continue to follow you all and watch as it grows.
Yeah, we can you guys can either order some or we can send you some. Like,
It'd be great. Yeah. Tell our audience where they can find you and and come check you out.
so in Chicago, we have Hometown Coffee and Juice, and we also have Ellie Tea Bar in Chicago. Here in Miami, we have Mimi's Yoga and Cafe Umbria on Lincoln Road. So we're sort of scattered all across the country. If they don't find us at any coffee shops, they can have those coffee shops reach out to us directly, or they can order directly online. There's a subscription model, and they can order. They get 15% off with their email sign up.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely go check out danthebakingman.com. It's great. Well, thank you so much for being with us today, Daniel. This has been awesome, and I love the brand. So, like I said, I can't wait to kind of continue to follow your growth and eat some cookies.
Awesome. Thank you very much for having me.
Lindsay, would you read us out?
Yeah, Daniel, again, thank you so much for joining us. And if you liked what you heard today, go ahead and hit the subscribe button to get notified when we launch new episodes. If you're ready to take the next step in your digital marketing journey, check out ppcpitbulls.com/assessment to take our digital marketing maturity assessment, and we'll help you determine your next step. And we'll see you all here next time.